Hi, I'm Fran Drescher, and you're listening to WRHU Radio.
You're listening to WRHU Radio, here with your host, Gary Duff, on 88.7 FM. We're joined by Fran Drescher. Most of you know her from her hit sitcom, The Nanny. She sits down with us to talk about her new television show, Happily Divorced, and a cause dear to her heart, Cancer Schmancer. Fran, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Now, for our listeners who don't know what Cancer Schmancer is, what exactly is it?
Cancer Schmancer is the organization that I started as a consequence of being a uterine cancer survivor myself. And it took me 2 years and 8 doctors to get a proper diagnosis. And then I wrote the New York Times bestseller, Cancer Schmancer. And when I was on my book tour and then I went into public speaking, I realized that what we don't know is killing us, and that the book was just the beginning of what's now become a life mission. So starting an organization was the next step, and that is to galvanize people through the website and membership, to educate people on the early warning whispers of the cancers that may affect them and the tests that are available, because if you catch it on arrival, 95% survival, and prevention, because 95% of most cancers are environmental. So we're educating people on making healthier lifestyle choices, from what they clean their homes with to what they put on their skin to what they put in their mouth. All very important, as well as, many other choices that we can make on a daily basis to reduce the levels of toxins and carcinogens and chemicals and radiation that will in turn help diminish our risk of getting cancer for ourselves and our families. And then we also are active in Washington, D.C., to try and make laws that will help to ultimately attain these goals, because we believe that stage 1 is the cure, and the reason why we lose loved ones to cancer is almost always due to late-stage diagnosis. And if everyone were diagnosed in stage 1, everyone would live. Almost everyone. And then rather than looking for a cure, which is kind of like closing the barn door after the horse escaped, better to find the cause and eliminate it so that we don't get the cancer in the first place.
Now, how did you find out that you had cancer? What was your reaction?
Well, my reaction when the doctor called and told me I had uterine cancer,
Mm-hmm.
It was my worst fears realized, and I dropped to my knees and wept and, called my boyfriend at the time with our 911 code on his, he at the time had one of those, I forget what they're called now. It's been so long since we've used one. But anyway, I 911'd it. And I called my parents, which was very difficult. And then I shifted gears very quickly and called the oncologist. And, it was truly the depths of despair for me.
And now, how did you go about coping with it? How did you treat it?
I had already been in therapy, and I had recognized myself as a person that was unable to ask for help, unable to receive help, and this was so leveling. I knew I couldn't be a superwoman or everyone else's caregiver. I had to make it entirely about me and surround myself with strong people that would help me. And so I think that it became an opportunity for me to actually put into action what I was learning about myself and start asking for help, start realizing that I'm vulnerable and human like everyone else, and allowing people in to carry me at times.
Now, cancer in general, is this something that happens more to women than men?
1 out of 2 men will get cancer in their lifetime, and 1 out of 3 women will get cancer. And the young people of today are the first generation in human history to be predicted not to live as long as their parents. So I think that the reason why we talk to women a lot specifically is because they tend to be the caregivers to the spouse, the elders, and the children in almost every home nationwide. So she's the one that's making the doctor's appointments. She's the one that's the biggest consumer in the family, buying the groceries, buying the clothes, buying the personal care items at the drugstore.
And now you're reaching out to some of these women with something called Fran Vans. What are Fran Vans?
Fran Vans is a great program that Cancer Schmancer offers that roll into low-income neighborhoods like ice cream trucks, offering women who are uninsured or underinsured free mammograms.
You also had a talk event, TAWK, I think you guys spelled it, but you talked about politics, health, different issues. What was that experience like for you?
It was a 16-hour limited engagement, which I did, and I did speak a lot on these issues, so much so that I actually got notes from the studio and the network to stop making everything so, cancer-driven. Now I actually, this week, am launching a new sitcom, which aired last night, and from here on forward, every Wednesday night at 10:30 on TV Land, and that's called Happily Divorced, and it's inspired by my true story because my ex-husband actually did come out and say that he was gay, and in this series, that's what happens to my character as well.
What differentiates it from your other work? Some of the things in the show.
I think that it's about something which isn't really different, but the same. I want things to have purpose and meaning, and the global message of this show is love is love, and it's about accepting people unconditionally and reinventing love so that it accommodates where you're at in your life, and putting energy into being happily divorced as much as you might to be happily married, and taking a relationship and allowing it to reinvent itself and morph into perhaps what it was best meant to be.
Now, did you write this?
Yes, I created it, I executive produce it, and I write it along with my partner, Peter Mark Jacobson, who is my ex-husband.
And now they also deal with, in the show, moving out into these different groups. The character who's supposed to play your ex-husband in the show trying to assimilate into the gay community, and you trying to move into the dating world. Are you dating now?
Yes, I am.
And how is that going for you?
It can be a humbling experience. And for me, I can't go on the Internet to do Internet dating, so I'm really reliant on meeting people by chance or through being fixed up or going to an event or a party.
Where can we go if we want to find out more about you, also Cancer Schmancer, and your new show?
Well, you can go to Happily Divorced on Facebook or cancerschmancer.org. I'd love, people to come out and meet me in East Hamptons this Sunday for the Fun Day on Sunday with Franny in support of our youth movement. And we're going to have big plasma screens at the East Hampton studios right on the water. It ought to be really special. It's a few hours, and it's good for the whole family. And if you want to watch sports, you can watch on the big plasma screens. And if you want to play games and have fun or meet me and take pictures, you can do all of that, and there'll be food and drinks, and it should be great. And at the same time, you're going to be supporting a great curriculum which targets young people from elementary school to university, and to help them make healthier lifestyle choices and to encourage their parents to do the same.
Fran Drescher, thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're so welcome.